In the year 2007, I came to SA to study. At the time, I was studying in Pretoria, and that's where I met my husband, Presley, who I fondly called Mosha. We've been together for about 18 years. We met in 2007. We were neighbors. And I guess we were saving water. We decided we were going to save water. But honestly, we were neighbors, and so he just approached me one day, and everything happened. I actually never knew who he was at the time. I didn't know he was an actor. I knew nothing, and that's when we kicked it off. Presley was a fun-loving guy, very ambitious, very, very ambitious. Kind-hearted, soft, gentle. When he needed to, he could, take it a notch up. But overall, he was very humble, very respectful guy. Presley's work ethic was unmatched. We'd be having normal, real-life issues, paying off bills, running kids to school, and just managing our home and our daily lives and struggle and family at large, and there'll be pressing issues, and he has to film, and as an actor he used his emotions to express his work, and on a bad day he had to tell jokes. On a bad day he had to make the whole country laugh, and he did that effortlessly. The one thing I take from him is read the room. Every situation is got his own reaction. I really applaud him. There were times when he was not okay, and literally walking, screaming, crawling. He gave his craft everything. He gave it blood, he gave it tears, and he gave it all his sweat. So he taught me to be a goal-getter, to get up and get things done. With Presley, it was everything is now. Now, let's go. So he really taught me, to push for the things that I want. And that's what I really take from all of this. He was a risk taker. I have to narrate a situation where he had worked in the UAE. He literally checked himself out of hospital, and he said, the next morning I'm jumping on a flight and I'm heading off to the UAE. He leaned on me all the way to the airport. We got onto a flight, we flew to the UAE, to Amman, and he executed beautifully. And we were 20 minutes away from the Palestine war. And on a particular day while we were there was a bomb flying over our heads. And then that's real. That's the reality that I had to live with. Those were real risks. When they talk about someone who would take a bullet for me, they talk about Presley, because he really did at some point. Presley really cared about myself and the kids. He really went all out for us. He knows I'm a woman of expensive taste, and he made sure of that. But jokes aside, he really, he was a father. Most of the times when he had to take Preston to the dentist and then they'd have their lunch dates, there were times when he would say on a Monday, Ashton cannot go to school, he's extremely tired, and I'd only find out when I get back from work, and even with Sia as well. You know, he enjoyed having lunches, special lunches with Sia. He'd go and pick him up, you know, spend time with him. I'll miss our Sunday lunches, which we did a lot. Our brides in the Lapa. Holidays. We had amazing holidays, you know. He always made sure the kids and I, like, we went on holiday. Good holidays, you know. He really made time for us throughout everything. He was a couch potato, very quiet, and I'll miss that silent voice sitting on the corner couch, lying on the corner couch covered in a blanket. I'll miss that about him. You know, Musha cared about people, cared about his family, his mom, siblings. He made sure that we were always in Mafikeng to check on the family. And, you know, my side of the family as well in Swaziland, we had a routine where during December holidays, we knew that's for our families. And one is in Mafikeng, the other is in Swaziland. We'd make sure that we plan holidays for both families. You know, we've traveled so much with the family as well. He just wanted his family to be happy, to be comfortable, and to be well taken care of, you know. Presley cared about his friends a lot. He had a lot of friends, and he honestly Bluetoothed the energy to each one of them, you know. If he introduced one to the other, then they all became a squad. They drove me crazy over the years. They gave me a hard time. They gave me a run for my money. But in the end, you know, it's, you know, even before the end, they created such a strong brotherhood. You know, they've been there through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we've all held each other down as family because that's who Presley was and that's what he always wanted. You know, I remember a time where we'd be looking for him for work and he's AWOL and he's at Rance's place or he's at Justice's place or he's at Braotto's place, and I had to have the search party all the time for him. But, you know, that was Presley. He loved his friends. He treated them like family. They were always welcome in our home. You know, we broke bread together. And he always wanted to make sure that his friends have work, in as much as he wanted them to make sure he was also good. You know, they had a real brotherhood. And, you know, he had a selected few sisters in the industry he cared for. He really deeply did care about people around him, you know, from the guys that collect our dustbins every week. He always made sure utlogela choko. Auntie, give choco for you know. Even the guys that sold fruits on the corner streets made sure, you know. And even the times when they take out like a large sum of money, and I'd say, but really? And he'd say, no, it's my protection fee, because he always had their backs, and in return he expected that. And, you know, looking at the outpour of condolences and everyone coming for giving us all their support, it shows us what kind of person Presley really was. Yeah.